Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And it's exciting. It's the month of July that's coming to its close. And if you're a familiar listener, one of the things that you've been experiencing in our program this last couple of months, and we're flat in the middle of it, is we are covering the 8 foundational principles of wellness, and specifically talking to seniors and family caregivers that may feel like, how can I improve my life? Might have some questions about what's more for me in life. How can I live a better quality of life? And each month, we have covered 2 foundational principles. And in the month of July, we have been talking a lot about occupational and social wellness. And our final guest for the month is a dear friend of mine. And it's a gentleman that's been on before, but I had to have you back. Larry Jacobson, who is a retirement coach, is going to talk to us a little bit about finding purpose in your senior years. How do you go from a career and all of a sudden find passions and find opportunities? And Larry, welcome back to Answers for Elders Radio.
Suzanne, it's so great to be here as always.
Well, I love having you on because, I remember when you were on before, we had a lot of interest and people were like, well, you think about when you retire and what those things happen. And it's like, how do you find that new spark? And I think that's one of the things that you talk about and why we do it. So I'm just curious, like you started early in this work when you kind of sold off your company. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh, okay, sure. So I had a company. I ended up CEO of the company and sold it because I had been in the industry and business for 20 years. And I said, 20 years is enough. So I sold my company and I made just enough money to tease me into thinking that I could buy a boat and afford to sail around the world.
I love it.
It wasn't quite enough money, but I was able to sell my half of my home halfway around the world. And I ended up sailing all the way around the world. It took 6 years to do that.
It's amazing.
And that was an incredible experience. I wrote a #1 seller memoir about it called The Boy Behind the Gate. And it was interesting because on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I had achieved the level of self-esteem.
Uh-huh.
I felt really great about what I had done for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I still felt when I got back that there was something missing. And I was just kind of wandering around, just thinking, well, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I had 6 years of what some people would call pleasures.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the brochure does lie but everything breaks on your boat.
Right.
Sailing around the world is really just fixing your boat in foreign ports with no money.
Mm-hmm.
But I was searching for the ultimate peak of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is self-actualization.
Right.
Self-actualization is what is you feel good about what you're doing, that you're giving back to society, that you're doing something for others, that you're improving other people's lives. Mm-hmm. And what you get back from that is your life goes through incredible.
True.
Yeah. I mean, you just feel so good. It's like everybody knows what's more fun, giving or getting a present.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's giving.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And I know my own personal story coming from the corporate world, what I always say, schlepping advertising. And when I started Answers for Elders, I know how you feel about that. It was like I was in my 50s, but I decided, you know what, this is important. And every day I'm blessed to be able to live that. And I know, but it's hard when people, I know I came from the corporate world. And there was a lot of things I don't think I felt that level of self-actualization. I mean, maybe some people do, but it was a job to me. Could you explain, I guess, the difference, as far as how you can find purpose and have that feeling? Like, explain to that.
Yes. Well, it's purpose and fulfillment are what all my coaching is about, really.
Uh-huh.
Helping people find purpose and fulfillment. And a lot of people make the mistake of confusing pleasure with purpose and fulfillment. And I'm going to use purpose and fulfillment as kind of one phrase, because they really are rather similar. Could be also the word meaning in life. And pleasures are what a lot of people seek in retirement. It's like, okay, I've worked my whole life. Now I'm going to just, I deserve to just mess around, and I'm going to travel, sleep late, and play golf.
That lasts for about 3 weeks.
It's right. And so I ask people then, well, where's your fulfillment come from? Now, a true golfer says, what are you, nuts? But then other people would agree with Mark Twain, which is, that golf is a perfectly fine way to ruin a good walk. So, yeah. So it's easy to mistake purpose and fulfillment for pleasures. So people go say, oh, I'm going to travel. Okay, that's nice. That's pleasurable. And you're sleeping late is great for about 2 days. And then you wake up on the third day and you're like, okay, well, now what do I do?
Right.
Yeah. And so finding that purpose and fulfillment, first of all, I just want to stress the importance of it. Is that when you just have a life of pleasure and leisure and golf and that, there'll be something missing. And even if you didn't like your job of what you were doing in your career, you still had some fulfillment from it.
True.
You no matter what it was,
accomplishment. You felt camaraderie. You felt like a member of a team.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're putting screws in the doors on an auto assembly line,
sure,
you still know that door was made by me.
Yeah.
Now I think that's robotic now, but
but that's the whole point. Yeah. What you're making is that, the idea that you matter, that you're doing something, that you're making a difference in the world. And I think that's something that a lot of us may not really think about until we get to the end chapters of our lives, because then we look back and say, what is my legacy going to be? How am I going to be remembered to my loved ones? Is that part of what works into that piece? Absolutely.
What's your legacy? Like right now, I'm working on 3 new books. Yeah, I know I'm crazy, but one of them is about wisdom. It's all the wisdom sayings that I've kind of made up over the years. My friends call them Larry-isms, and why am I doing that? I don't want them to be forgotten. I want to be able to pass that wisdom on to the next generation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's giving back. And I think if I was to leave your listeners with one thing they could really remember, it would be that you're striving to become part of something larger than yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
And that makes you feel, it's like if you're in the military, you're not on your own. You're part of something larger than yourself.
Right.
If you're working at your church and helping out, on weekends or daily or whatever, if you're teaching kids, if you're teaching elders, anything that you're providing for others, you're doing something larger than yourself. If you're working for hunger, look at, Bill Gates is working. He was working for his company and himself. And now, man, he is all over something much larger than himself.
Well, and I think too, when you look at that, it's like, how can you what gives you passion? And it's like a lot of things I look at when I coach caregivers and I talk to family caregivers that have left the workplace, and all of a sudden they're in a scenario where, well, what am I going to do with my life? And Larry, you and I are going to come right back. But in the meantime, how do we reach you?
Oh, you reach me easily. Just go to my website, LarryJacobson.com, and that's JACOBSON. And on there's all kinds of all over the site. On no matter what page you're at, you can fill in the form that says Contact Larry.
Fabulous. And everyone, Larry and I will be right back. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.